Today, on Live from Ahch-To, a Star Wars podcast.
There's something about this boy.
We need a midichlorian count.
What are midichlorians?
The reading is off the chart.
The cells have the highest concentration of
What are midichlorians?
Well, that's just microscopic bacteria in your bloodstream.
midichlorians. He is the chosen one.
You believe it's this boy?
Anakin will become a Jedi.
The chosen one, the boy may be.
There would be a chosen one.
I am the chosen one.
Because I am the chosen one.
Because she thinks you're the chosen one.
You are the chosen one! But I am the chosen one.
Chosen one.
Midichlorians.
Chosen one.
Chosen one.
Midichlorians.
Chosen one.
Midichlorians.
Chosen one!
Look, if you're not going to take this seriously, I'm out.
Welcome back, troopers, to Live from Ahch-To, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and there's no place like Star Wars. Today we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, released 25 years ago today on May 25th, 1999. I just saw it for the first time in the theater over the Star Wars Day May the 4th Be With You weekend, and while it is certainly not my favorite and has a lot of issues, there is nothing quite like seeing a Star Wars movie in a movie theater. Focusing on the positive, Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor are simply a joy as Qui-Gon Jinn and young Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the music. Chef's Kiss, the Duel of the Fates piece is fantastic. John Williams really did a magnificent job. And the culminating lightsaber fight between the Jedis and Darth Maul was very well done. Negatively speaking, it's unfortunate the story is relatively weak, the setting is questionable, and the pacing is all over the place.
It's stylistically designed to be that way, and you can't undo that.
And like other reviewers and critics have said over the years, it appears no one really challenged George Lucas on any of his ideas in any way, and it seemed like they just went with his first draft of the screenplay.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
So what do you think of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace? Is it an exuberating display of force-field goodness that brought Star Wars back after a 16-year hiatus following Return of the Jedi? Or is it a questionable mess of a movie that was all filler and no substance with underwhelming and distracting characters?
Lisa Jar Jar Binks.
These perspectives and more on today's episode. So roll a chance cube and rev up your pod racer as we dive into Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Up first today we have Quentin Gary Jenkins from Greenville, Delaware. Thank you, Quentin, for calling in today to talk about Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
Oh, hey, thanks. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely, Quentin. Welcome. So what are your thoughts on The Phantom Menace?
Yeah, so I was in the military when that movie came out.
Oh, yeah? That's very cool. Thank you for your service. What did you do?
I made PowerPoint slides and tracked them on a matrix, which was in turn tracked on a matrix tracking matrix that was incorporated into Division Operations Horse Blanket that was updated on a PowerPoint slide and tracked on a matrix, tracking the matrix tracking matrix.
Oh, that sounds cool. What's a horse blanket?
Yeah, a horse blanket's just a really big file that if you printed it, it'd be as big as a horse blanket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are lots of odd colloquialisms for things in the Army, like they called sleeping bags fart sacks.
Fart sacks?
Yeah, 'cause it's a sack you get in and you fart in it.
Okay. So getting back to The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, so I saw it shortly after I was in a car accident on post.
Oh my goodness, were you okay?
Yeah, I was fine, but the pasta salad didn't make it.
Pasta salad?
Yeah, I was on my way to a cookout and I was bringing the pasta salad. It was in the back seat behind me, and someone ran a stop sign and hit me in the left box side of my truck. So that pasta salad went everywhere, including my mouth. It was delicious, but I was the only person that had some.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's too bad.
It's okay. So afterwards, a couple friends from my unit asked me what we should do to make me feel better. So I said, well, let's go see Star Wars. No one's seen it yet, so we did that.
Oh, okay, cool. So did it make you feel better?
Well, first, our local theater in town really sucked, so we drove almost to Syracuse to the nearest decent theater. What struck us as odd was the theater was mostly empty on a weekend afternoon show, and Star Wars had been out barely a month.
Yeah, that would have seemed really odd to me as well.
Well, that's when we learned the movie was just kind of dumb.
Oh, so you didn't like it then?
Well, when it was over, I was trying to decide which was worse, being in a car accident or that the taxation of trade routes was in dispute.
Yeah, that main part of the story was certainly an odd choice to generate a conflict.
Oh yeah, it was so dumb. The movie was just all over the place.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I even thought the title was a joke when they first announced it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the Phantom Menace? They can't be serious. The first thing I thought of was that Billy Zane Phantom movie.
No smoking in the Skull Cave.
Oh yes, it's an odd title for sure.
I mean, what does it mean? Is it Darth Maul? Is it that Palpatine feller?
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Oh yeah, I totally hear you.
Oh, maybe Jar Jar. If anyone's a menace, it's obviously him.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah, I do agree it's not a great title.
There's a fan theory that Jar Jar is a secret Sith Lord.
Oh really? Wow, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, and there's a Darth Jar Jar Lego animated special coming out.
Jar Jar is a key to all this.
Huh, oh really? That could be fun.
Yeah, maybe. I think Phantom Menace, though, should have been called Revenge of the Sith, because Darth Maul actually says it.
At last we will have revenge.
They really didn't do much of that, though.
Interesting, that's a good point. However, I think the whole point of the movie was how Palpatine was elected Chancellor, so he was positioned to become the Emperor. The title could have been better, though.
Yeah, a few years ago, some guy on the internet rearranged all the Star Wars movie titles so they made more sense.
Oh, wow, really? I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, this guy suggested Episode 1 be called The Rise of Skywalker, since that's when Anakin first comes into the picture.
Huh. Yeah, that makes a little more sense, I guess.
It sure doesn't help that movie, though. I don't care what it's called.
Yeah, totally. It's not great.
Yeah, I'd rather watch that there Human Centipede movie.
We start with cutting the ligamentum
And thank you, Quentin, for calling in today to talk about Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Great to hear from you. And up next, we welcome Guy Green from Greenville, Mississippi. Thank you for joining us today, Guy, to talk about Star Wars The Phantom Menace.
Hiya, so happy to be here today.
Thank you for joining us, Guy. So what are your thoughts on The Phantom Menace?
Well, I was really happy when it first came out to see that they used an actual puppet for Yoda.
Oh, wow, really? Yoda was CGI in the version I saw a few weeks ago.
Well, when it first came out, the original version, Frank Oz was the puppeteer for Yoda, like in The Empire Strikes Back, except for 2 wide shots when he was walking, which required the CGI.
Oh, okay.
This was changed in 2011 for a re-release, and then Yoda was changed from a puppet to CGI, like what they used for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
At last we will have revenge.
Wow, that's interesting. I've never seen the puppet version. I did like that they used a puppet for Yoda in The Last Jedi, though.
Yeah, the one thing I can appreciate about the sequel movies is the use of puppets, real sets, and practical effects.
Oh yes, I agree with you there.
The Phantom Menace today looks like a half-finished Pixar movie.
Oh yes, I totally agree. The CGI in the movie does look a bit dated.
Yeah, just like in the original trilogy, the use of puppets for some of the creatures and monsters was great. I really like the puppets. CGI is just lazy.
Yeah, it certainly requires a different skill set for puppeteering and practical effects than it does for the CGI.
Oh yeah, Star Wars is steeped in puppet lore. My favorite episode of The Muppet Show is one with Luke Skywalker.
Oh, I remember The Muppet Show. I don't remember any specific episodes, though. There was one with Luke Skywalker?
Oh yeah, Mark Hamill was on it as Luke Skywalker, and R2-D2 was there too.
Oh, very cool. I'll have to look that one up. I bet it's hilarious.
My favorite part, though, is when Angus McGonagall, the Argyle Gargoyle, gargles Gershwin gorgeously with Mark Hamill.
And thank you, Guy, for calling in to talk about Star Wars, puppets, and The Muppet Show. Great to hear from you. And up next, we welcome Oscar Wilson Keller from Greenville, Wisconsin. Welcome, Oscar, and thank you for dialing in today to talk about Star Wars, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, there, thanks for having me.
You bet, Oscar. Welcome. So what are your thoughts on The Phantom Menace?
Well, first, I think Anakin making C-3PO is, probably the dumbest idea ever.
Oh, yes, totally. I'm with you there.
Also, Anakin's a kid, right? So why would he give a droid he built from scratch a numeric identifier for a name, like one of the production droids?
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't make much sense.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Yeah, he'd totally name it something like Scrappy or Goldie. Seriously, though, C-3PO should have been that first droid we see on the Trade Federation donut ship.
I'm TC-14 at your service.
Then 3PO goes down to Naboo with those dumb Trade Federated guys. Then near the end of the movie, after Padma says,
"Now, Viceroy, we will discuss a new treaty."
She could have also said, "Hey, and we're keeping your droid. Hey, Captain Papschmear, have its memory wiped."
Papschmear?
Which would have been a good callback later when Basil Oregano orders 3PO's memory wiped at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Basil Oregano, played by Jimmy Smits. He got blown up on Alderaan!
Nice. That is a much better idea of how they could have handled 3PO. The character names are Captain Panaka and Bail Organa, by the way.
Sure. Okay. Oh, and Qui-Gon Jinn totally messed up when he brought Anakin to the Jedi Council.
Oh, yeah? How so?
Well, Qui-Gon never brought up that Anakin didn't have a father.
He didn't? I thought he did.
No, well, not directly anyway. He just sort of inferred it by hypothesizing he was conceived by the mitochondriacs.
It is possible he was conceived by the midichlorians.
Oh, okay. I see.
He should have been more direct. Hey guys, Yoda, Sam Jackson, how's it going? Oh, by the way, I found this kid on Tatooine. He has a higher mini chlamydia count than all the council members here combined. And he doesn't have a father. Isn't that weird? Anyone want to talk about that? Or do you all just want to get some takeout?
Yeah, that's a great point. And the council's initial response to Qui-Gon was, I don't know, boredom? They all seemed really bored.
Yeah, and it was weird. He just went straight for Chosen One.
He is the Chosen One.
I'm pretty sure the first thing George Lucas thought of, though, for this movie was the pod race.
Yeah, a lot of work and focus was put into that part. I seem to recall George Lucas was really into classic hot rods and drag racing.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting when the Kurt Bandwidth guy from Mando, he was riding around on one of Anakin's pod racer engines.
Oh, you mean Cobb Vanth? Really?
Well, it may not have been exactly one of Anakin's, but it was definitely a G20C pod racer engine, which is the same type that Anakin used.
Nerds! Nerds!
Which was a decent callback to the movie from Mando, you know?
That's very cool.
Nerds!
Fun fact. I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Oh, TJ, have you seen the Phantom Menace, the anti-cheese edit?
No, I've only seen it the one time a few weeks ago in the theater. What's the anti-cheese edit?
Well, it's a fan edit of the movie someone dropped on the internet 7 or 8 years ago. It has a lot of the stuff that makes the movie dumb for the most part taken out, like,
Now this is pod racing.
Jar Jar's voice.
Excuse me, more did you speak?
And takes out the Trade Federated guys' voices.
What did you say?
Are you brain dead?
What?
Are you brain dead?
What?
Brain dead?
It's a pretty good edit. Makes the movie almost watchable.
Wow, that actually sounds pretty cool. I'll need to see if I can find it. Do you have any other thoughts on the Phantom Menace?
Well, at the end boss battle with Darth Maul, after Obi-Wan cuts him in half there's a mist of blood you see briefly, which I think is unnecessary, as a lightsaber would have instantly cauterized everything. Otherwise, it would have been a much bigger mess when he fell down that shaft, you know?
Oh yes, I agree with you there. Totally. I did like how they brought him back for the Clone Wars series, though. At first I wasn't so sure, but he ended up being a pretty compelling character.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, have you watched Rebels?
No. No, not yet. It's on the list, though.
Well, okay, I won't spoil it for you. At any rate, I don't think he was who the Phantom Menace was supposed to be.
Well, it was supposed to be Palpatine, right?
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Well, I think it was maybe whoever made that big poop in the road that Jar Jar stepped in.
Oh!
And thank you, Oscar, for calling in today to talk about Star Wars. Great to hear from you. And finally, we welcome back Duke Dryhumper from Greenville, California. Greenville? Hey, Duke, did you move?
No, not really. And it's Lark. Lark Looker.
Oh, right. So sorry, it's been a while.
It's okay. I'm just taking some time off and need to change the scenery. Although the Feather Springs Campground and RV Park is nice, I'm already missing the spice joint. I left one of my lackeys in charge. I hope he doesn't fuck it up. Sometimes the Packs like to swing by unannounced for happy hour, check up on things.
Oh, well, I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's just what Han Solo said. Then they froze his ass.
Right. So, the Phantom Menace. What are your thoughts?
We play a Phantom Menace drinking game back at the spice joint. A shot of spotchka whenever anything dumb happens.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I'm usually passed out 6 or 7 minutes into the movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. This movie doesn't make any sense.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Yeah, it's not too well thought out.
It's stylistically designed to be that way, and you can't undo that, but we can diminish the effects of it.
Let's start with the Trade Federation.
Okay.
They're idiots.
What did you say?
Yes. Totally.
Okay, next. Anakin peacocking and hitting on Padme is the most awkward thing ever.
Are you an angel? What?
Yes, I agree. That scene is awkward.
Why did George Lucas make Anakin look like Adam Rich from 8 is Enough?
8 is Enough?
Come on, everyone. That 8 is Enough reunion show is about to start.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he wasn't exactly a role model.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Well, Rich struggled with substance abuse and nearly died in 989 from a Valium overdose. And 2 years later, he was arrested for breaking into a pharmacy, and he was bailed out by Dick Van Patten.
Okay.
Then Rich spent 3 years in rehab before getting arrested again in 2002 for a DUI.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
Yeah, he died last year, too. He was only 54.
54? Oh, geez, that's awful.
Yeah, heartbreaking. Which leads us to Jake Lloyd, who played young Anakin.
Oh, What happened with him?
He led cops in a high-speed chase back in 2015 and was arrested.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, and his mom said he was bullied in school and has schizophrenia and other mental health issues caused by Star Wars fandom backlash for his portrayal of Anakin.
Wow, that is awful. People can be really cruel.
Yeah. Could we go back to talking about Star Wars, please?
What? Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, I hate Jar Jar Binks with the passion of a Sith Lord.
Jar Jar is a key to all this.
Oh, gooberfish! My tongue.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone there.
But that made it all the better to see Ahmed Best play the Jedi Knight who saved Grogu in his flashback on Mando.
Oh, what? That was Ahmed Best?
I did not know that.
Wow, that is very cool.
Yeah, what a great redemption. Especially considering all the fan hate and abuse he also received for playing Jar Jar, but that was George's fault.
Jar Jar is a key to all this.
I hope we get to see more of Ahmed's Jedi character at some point. He was a badass.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate he had to go through all of that. And I need to go back and rewatch that part in Mando. I totally didn't know it was him. That's amazing.
Next, did they skip Obi-Wan's Jedi trials?
What, his trials? I don't know. What do you mean?
Well, on Coruscant, Obi-Wan tells Yoda he's ready for the trials.
I am ready to face the trials.
Then Yoda tells him to f*** off.
Okay, right.
Then after Qui-Gon's funeral, Yoda makes Obi-Wan a Jedi Knight.
Confer on you the level of Jedi Knight. The Council does.
When he had no time to do those trials.
Wow, you're right. Maybe they figured the fight with Darth Maul was enough of a trial, maybe?
Maybe. I hope he didn't spend all his evening studying for a test he didn't have to take, though.
Yeah, right.
Okay, last. Shmi Skywalker.
Yes, Anakin's mother.
And my grandmother.
What? Oh, right.
Well, she must have also had a high M count for Anakin to have one too, right?
Wow, yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Well, that's how biology works. So midichlorians are like a bacteria or something, right?
I don't know. Qui-Gon just said it was something like a microscopic life form or something.
Midichlorians are a microscopic life form that resides within all living cells.
How'd she get knocked up then?
Darth Plagueis. He could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life.
So is the Force like an STD or something?
An STD? You mean like a,
Or can mids come from something like a yeast infection?
Oh, wow, I don't know.
I had a yeast infection once and hoped it would result in an M count that would make me Force sensitive. But I ended up just having a yeast infection.
And thank you, Duke, for calling in today to talk about...
It's Lark.
Right, sorry.
Lark Licklocker.
Yes, right, I keep forgetting.
George Lucas originally wanted to use a trained monkey to play Yoda, up until the first test monkey threw its feces at George's beard.
Wait, what?
Jar Jar is a key to all this.
Next time on Live from Ahch-To, a Star Wars podcast.
Close your eyes. Tell me what comes into your mind.
Bread, apples, very small rocks, cider, a great gravy.
Life.
Cherries, mud.
Balance.
Wood.
I see fire.
A duck. Exactly.
Acolytes!
Jedi are being hunted.
Believe me.
Because we're being hunted.
What are you?
I'm Batman.